First of all, gut feeling. How's the game turn out? What does the game look like to you this weekend?
Well, my initial reaction is that Tom should be able to have his way with the defense, and with the amount of talent that they have offensively, with the knowledge that he has of not just the defensive personnel, but the scheme and all those things, and even the game planning, Tom should have a tremendous edge. I think emotionally, he isn't going to be jacked up by anything that they any tributes or anything like that. If anything, he's going to be more zeroed in than ever. And I'm so curious to see how Bill is going to try to attack Tom. Because if he knows what you're in, he's going to go to the right place. So you've got to disguise. How well can this group do that? Can they push the pocket against them? There's the element of Bill taking some shots at Bruce Arians and saying this is really just a New England offense. I mean, I think that's another little side note to this whole thing. But Tom's not going to be jacked up, and he's got a tremendous edge going in there.
By the way, have you seen any growth with Mac Jones so far? He was bad last weekend. What have you seen?
Yeah, well, bad is relative. Bad relative to the other rookie quarterbacks. I don't think that's necessarily the case. He's done a great job in terms of running the offense, mechanically making sure that things are right. He looks poised for the most part. It doesn't look too big for him. Where people are attacking now, Colin, is they're bringing a lot more pressure. And even though it's not resulting in sacks, he's hit at one of the highest rates in the league, and he's hurried at one of the highest rates in the league. So now the way that works is everybody's going to start bringing it to see whether he can fix and deal with that problem. And in addition, you're getting tight man-to-man coverage to make sure he has no easy answers. And they haven't hurt anybody with deep balls.
Yeah.
So until you make somebody pay with a deep ball, you're going to get more and more of that. And that's, they need to find an answer and some way to help them with those two problems.
By the way, I've been asking this to everybody. Urban Meyer 0-4 start. I think they've played well the last 2 weeks. Your gut feeling on what you're seeing? I think they're getting gradually better, but I think there's limitations.
It's hard in the NFL. It's radically different from college football. And when you come in with as much power as he has and as much credibility as he has, you're given a tremendous benefit of the doubt. But when you go 0-4, that starts to erode. And the players in the locker room, as much as you're asking them to grow, you're asking them to improve, you're asking them to change, they need to see the same thing from him. They need to see an evolution. And I don't know where that is. I thought they made progress last night. I thought one thing they did to help Trevor Lawrence is run the ball and consistently run the ball. And that helps young quarterbacks. But how well is he really growing, and how well is he dealing with the pressure and the effects of losing? What's he lost more games so far this year than the last 2 years at Ohio State?
You like Joe Burrow from day one. Coach, I think he's so poised and so accurate. Like, I think the only thing limiting him is the Bengals. And that's how highly I think of him now.
I do like Joe Burrow. And you see, too, Colin, the difference between year one and year two. It's so hard for these guys to go in and then play at a high level. And I look for moments with young quarterbacks. How do they do in moments? So here they are, they're down 14. He's able to bring the team back, and then he's able to put them in a position to win. That, to me, is growth. That's a great sign of growth. Where I'm a little bit concerned is he's thrown almost as many interceptions this year as he did all of last year. And look, we all want our quarterbacks to be aggressive, but you want those numbers to not be skewed the way they're skewing a little bit right now.
Yeah. So, it's funny. Sometimes you see something early in the year, and you look at your eyes, and then you go to analytics and see if those are telling you the true thing. I have been a critic of the Cowboys for most of my career as a broadcaster, because most of my career they've been 8-8, 9-8. They've just been hovering around 500. But I will say this: I think their defense is better than the market's giving them credit for. I think it's so fast. I think they found an elite Diggs, the corner. I think he's fantastic. They're all banged up defensively, and they're still playing well. And they gave Justin Herbert, who's tremendous, leads the NFL in completions since the beginning of last year. Is Dallas's defense now good? You've watched. What is it now? Because I'll tell you this: it's rangy, it's athletic, it is fast.
Well, that's the difference between this year and last year. Primarily, there was a lot of adjustments and a lot of things that they had to handle in the scheme last year, and it takes some time for that to really work at a high level. So oftentimes guys are tentative, guys play slower than they normally would. What it looks like Dan's done, and Dan's always done a good job of this, is he's gone and he's simplified it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he's constantly preaching, running to the ball, playing fast, making sure that's the primary focus. And you can overcome a lot of deficiencies through effort, intensity, the speed with which you play. And I give Dan a lot of credit for doing that. Now it'll become more multiple as he's there, but he's not putting too much on a young group and a group that has so many new players. And look, the offense has been explosive. It's not like they have to be the elite defense in the league. They just have to be significantly better than they were last year, and they are right now.
Yeah, no question. By the way, finally, circle back to the Patriots. The book is out, Seth Wickersham. Most of the stuff we all know. The one thing that landed for me is Kraft is quoted calling Belichick the most miserable human being in my life. I've seen Bill bail on owners before. Do you think if Bill saw that and thought, well, what's the point? I mean, he's going to get rid of me at some point. Why don't I bail first and go find a young quarterback in a warm beach? What do you think, how would that land if Bill read that? I'm sure Bill would read that.
There's a lot of really successful people that are miserable. And some of the reason that they're so successful is because that's all they're focused on, and they don't have the ability to give energy in other areas. I don't think Bill would want to go somewhere else. He's got two of his kids who are on the staff. He's got the system in place from a coaching perspective, a scouting perspective, a pro scouting, equipment, medical, right on down the line. And that took years and years to develop. And to go somewhere new and overhaul a place, that's a hard job, especially at this point in his career. Now, if it gets to be a situation where the friction is too great, just like they can ask Tom Brady to leave the building, and Bill was able to do that, and Robert can ask Bill to leave the building, and he'd have every right to. I mean, you got to give Mr. Kraft a tremendous amount of credit. He traded a first-round draft pick for Bill, coming off a one-winning season in 5 years in Cleveland. That took a tremendous amount of foresight, and I'm sure he wants some gratitude for it.
Yeah. Good seeing you, Coach. Be fun to watch on Sunday night. Thanks, man.
All right, we'll talk to you, Colin.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.